Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our virtual Mishnah Berurah share. We are holding in Mishnah Berurah Chelik Hey. We're on Peiches Hamid Beis. We're continuing Hilchas Pesach, and we begin with Siman Taf Ayin Ches. Shaloi lechel achar achilas ha'afikomen. You are not permitted to eat after you eat the afikomen. Once you finish eating the afikomen, you're not supposed to eat anything anymore. Ubay Beis Seifim, and here we have two Seifim. Says the Mechaber in Sif Aleph. Achar afikomen, after you finish eating the afikomen, ein lechel shum davar, you should not eat anything else. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah over here. It says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut in Aleph. Ein lechel, you should not eat anything. Kedei shelo yavar mipiv tam matzah shel afikomen shehu mitzvah, so that you should not take away the taste of the afikomen. The afikomen is a mitzvah. The eating of the afikomen was a mitzvah. So the taste of that matzah is a tam mitzvah. It's a taste of mitzvah. And we don't want you to lose that taste al yedei tam oisay meichel, because it would be overwhelmed by the taste of whatever you're going to eat now. Well, b'di'evet, imachal acharov shum davar, if you did eat something after you ate the afikomen before Birkas Hamazon, yachzor v'yochal kazayis matzah shmura, you should go ahead and you should eat another kazayis of shmura matzah, l'shem afikomen, having in mind that you're eating this to be mekayim the mitzvah of eating the afikomen. So if you finished your meal and you went and you ate your afikomen, and now before you benched, you realized after you ate the afikomen, you said, you know what, that looks like a good piece of cake, and you ate another piece of cake, or you had a little bit more compote, and now you realize, oh, I wasn't supposed to eat after the afikomen. You shouldn't just say, oh, well, I blew it. I guess I wasn't supposed to do it, but I did it. What could I do? No, you should go now and you should eat another kazayas of matzah, l'shem, the mitzvah of afikomen. I think I have mentioned this before, but I always like to say over that in the Haggadah, by the Ben HaChacham, by the son of the Chacham, we say that you have to teach him halachas. What do you tell him? Ein maftir nachar Pesach afikomen. You tell the Chacham, the halacha, that after the afikomen we don't eat anything. Why is that the halacha that we teach the Chacham right now? It's because the reason of this matzah, of this mitzvah, is the tam of the matzah. We don't want you to lose the taste. We have to teach a Chacham, and we have to teach our children when they're young, that mitzvahs have to have tam. A mitzvah has to have tam. When we do a mitzvah, we have to do it with gefühl. We have to do it with feeling. We have to do it with a recognition that we're doing the Das Elyon, we're doing the Ratzon HaBorei, we're fulfilling the will of our Creator. And we have to do it with love. We have to do it with emotion. It shouldn't be a kalta mitzvah, it should be a varma mitzvah. Okay, Eis Cotton Bays. The Mechaber said you shouldn't eat shum davar. You should not eat anything. Says the Chavetz Chaim, Ule'inyin shtia. How about drinking? Are you allowed to drink after you eat the afikomen? So on that, the Chavetz Chaim says, Nechliku ha-paiskim. There's disagreement amongst the paiskim when it comes to drinking. V'yesh lahachmir b'mashke ha-meshaker. You definitely should be stringent when it comes to a beverage that can intoxicate. So you should not drink wine. You shouldn't drink schnapps. Anything that could be intoxicating, you should not drink, because we don't want you to go ahead now and fall asleep. We want you to concentrate on the Seder. You have to say a Hallel. You can still be Mesaper in Yetzias Mitzrayim. But l'chatchila, nachar lizayer, l'chatchila, it's proper to be careful, mikol mashke, that you should not drink any beverage, chutz mimayim, with the exception of water, ukahai gavna, and other beverages like water. What does that mean? Kemoshe mavor lekamon b'simin taf pei aleph, like we're going to discuss later on in Siman Taf Pei Aleph, in regards to the halacha of drinking after you finish the Dalit Kaisais, the Mishnah Berurah Sif Cotton Aleph. And if you look over there in the Mishnah Berurah, he says that water or weak apple juice or tea, other drinks that don't have a lot of flavor, they have weak taste, like water, those you could drink after the afikomen, because we're not afraid that those beverages are going to take away the taste of the afikomen. You'll still retain the taste of the afikomen in your mouth, even if you go ahead and drink a tea. Now we go back up to the Shulchan Aruch. Says the Ramah, Haga, v'lo yochlenu b'shnei mekaymos. When you eat the afikomen, you should not eat the afikomen in two different places. Once you start eating the afikomen, you should stay where you are, and you should eat the kazayas of the afikomen in one place. The loy adif. Now, let's stop. Let's pause here for a second and go down to the Mishnah Berurah. Ois cotton gimel. We should not eat the afikaimen in two different places. As far as the rest of the Suda, by Shulchan Aruch, if you want to move around by Shulchan Aruch, you can move around. Of course, we have to bear in mind Hilchas Brachas. There's such a thing as Shinui Makayim. You can't necessarily wash and then in the middle of the Suda leave the house and go eat somewhere else. So we still have the problem of Hilchas Brachas of Shinui Makayim. But certainly by the Suda, if you're sitting by one table and you want to move over to another table, you have no problem doing that in the middle of Shulchan Aruch. But in the middle of the Afikaimen, it's problematic. You should not eat the Afikaimen in two different places. The Chavetz Chaim says this halacha remains true even if you stay in one room. Let's say you have a lot of people by your Seder and you have a large dining room, so you have more than one table set up. Don't start eating the afikaimen at one table, then shift over to another table and continue eating the afikaimen over there. That would be eating the afikaimen in shnei mekaymis, and that's a problem. V'atam, says the Chavetz Chaim, what's the reason for this halacha? Sha'afikaimen zecher lapesach, because the afikaimen is remember we said this over from the Rush. The afikaimen is a zecher; it's a remembrance to the achila of the carbon pesach. You are not allowed to eat the carbon pesach in two different places. Because it says in the pasuk, it should be eaten in one house. From there, we learn the halacha. You're not allowed to shift around while you're eating the carbon pesach. You have to eat the carbon pesach in one place. And since the afikaimen is a zecher to the carbon pesach, the same halacha applies to the eating of the afikaimen. Now let's go back up to the Ramah. So the Ramah just said the halacha that you have to eat the afikaimen in one place. Now continues the Ramah and he says, the loy adif me'ilu hifsik b'shena, because switching places in middle of eating the afikaimen would not be any better than if you fell asleep in middle of eating the afikaimen. The asur la'achlai, we're going to say very shortly that if you fall asleep in middle of eating the afikaimen, you're not allowed to continue eating the afikaimen when you wake up. Why? The heavy kishnei mekaymis. The rationale for that halacha is because falling asleep, being mafsik, interrupting your eating of the afikaimen with sleep, is akin to eating the afikaimen in two different places. Now, the Mishnah Berurah says over here in Ois Cotton Dalit, Ois Cotton Hay, the loy adif. The Ramah makes this point that moving places, changing places while you eat the afikaimen is no better than interrupting the eating of the afikaimen with sleep. Says the Chavetz Chaim, Mevi Raya, what the Ramah is trying to do over here is, he's trying to bring a proof. Shegam b'matzah machmirin b'shnei mekaymis k'may b'pesach. We said that this halacha is based on the halacha by the carbon pesach. You're not allowed to eat the carbon pesach in two different places. From that halacha, we established the halacha that's going to come up now in Sif Beis, that you're not allowed to continue eating the afikaimen if you fell asleep while you were in middle of eating the afikaimen. And what's the rationale of that halacha? That halacha is based on that interrupting your eating of the afikaimen by falling asleep is like changing places while you're eating the afikaimen. So you see that the halacha that you're not allowed to eat the carbon pesach in two places also applies to the eating of the matzah of the afikaimen, because we see that you can't interrupt with falling asleep. So in that case, you're also not allowed to change places while you're eating the afikaimen. Okay. Now let's go to Sif Beis. Says the Shulchan Aruch. I'm sorry, by the way, I see that the video today is somewhat choppy and the audio and the video are a little bit out of sync. I'm not sure why. I don't know if it's a problem with my Wi-Fi, if the Wi-Fi is a little bit slow, or it has something to do with the camera and the computer. I'm not, my technological savvy over here leaves a little bit to be desired. I'm slowly but surely improving the quality of the output, but I don't know exactly why this is happening. I hope you could bear with it. I'll try to discover what the problem is and I'll try to solve it. before I do another video. In any case, now we go to Sif Beis. Mi sheyoshen b'soich hasuda, if somebody falls asleep. Now, literally, this means over here in middle of the meal. So just a simple reading of the Shulchan Aruch, you would think that the Shulchan Aruch is referring to somebody who falls asleep in middle of Shulchan Aruch. However, we're going to see that that's not the case. The Mechaber is addressing specifically somebody who falls asleep in middle of eating the afikomen. And that's the way I'm going to read it now. Mi sheyoshen b'soich hasuda, if somebody falls asleep in middle of eating the afikomen, vehekitz, and then he wakes up, einoi chayzer lechel, he cannot continue eating the afikomen. Now, the Mechaber does not speak out very clearly, nor does the Mishnah Berurah, nor does the Chavetz Chaim, from what I see, speak about it in the Bir Halacha or the Sharat Tzion. But I see in the Shulchan Aruch Harav that the Shulchan Aruch Harav says the Mechaber is speaking about even in a case where you did not yet eat a kazayas of the afikomen. So you started eating the afikomen, you ate, let's say, a half a kazayas, and then you fell asleep. And now you wake up and you say, oh, I didn't finish eating the afikomen. So now you want to continue eating the afikomen. Says the Mechaber, no. Mi sheyoshen b'soich hasuda, if you fell asleep while you were in the middle of eating the afikomen, the heikitz, and then you wake up, einoi chayzer lechel, he cannot continue eating the afikomen. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut and vav, b'soich hasuda. What does this mean that you fell asleep in the middle of the meal? So the Chavetz Chaim says, ayin b'divrei harama b'hagah. Look at what the Ramah is going to say in the Hagah. So let's look back up in the Shulchan Aruch and let's skip the next sentence of the Mechaber and let's look at the Ramah. The Ramah says Hagah, v'chol ze einei ela sheyashnu la'achar she'eschilu la'echal ha'afikomen. The Ramah says, this is talking about where you fell asleep in the middle of the afikomen. That's what it means. But if you fell asleep in the middle of the meal, you don't have to worry. The problem of falling asleep is specific to falling asleep in the middle of the eating of the afikomen. If you fall asleep in the middle of the afikomen, you can't continue eating the afikomen after you woke up. Now let's go back to the Mishnah Berurah. Let's go to Eis Katan Zayin. Einoi chayzer lechel. You cannot go ahead and continue eating the afikomen. Why? Says the Chavetz Chaim, Da'ashena chashuva hefsik, because falling asleep in the middle of eating the afikomen constitutes a hefsik. That's an interruption in your eating of the afikomen. And the Chazal treat that as being akin to changing places while you're eating the afikomen, which we said previously you're not allowed to do because you're not allowed to change places while you're eating the Karban Pesach. And the afikomen is a zeicher to the Karban Pesach. Incidentally, this comes from a Mishnah in Arvei Psachim. This is a halacha beferish in the Mishnah. Now, the Mishnah does not state clearly that we're talking about eating the afikomen. The Mishnah may be talking about the eating of the Karban Pesach, but it's very clear from here that the same way you're not allowed to change places while you eat the Karban Pesach, you can't change places while you eat the afikomen, and therefore you cannot be mafsik with shina. You can't interrupt your eating of the afikomen by sleeping, and if you do, you cannot continue eating the afikomen. Now let's continue the Shulchan Aruch. The Shulchan Aruch says, okay, so you're not allowed to interrupt with sleeping. If you fell asleep in the middle of eating the afikomen, you cannot continue eating. Now, says the Mechaber, b'nei chabura, if you have a group that's eating the Seder together, sheyashnu miktsasan b'soich hasuda. So you have 5 people sitting around the table by the Seder eating the afikomen, and 2 of them fell asleep. So some of the people sitting around the table fell asleep. And now they woke up. Chayzrim va'oichlim. They, when they wake up, can wake up and continue eating the afikomen, even though they were mafsik with shina, even though they fell asleep. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut and ches. Chayzrim va'oichlim. When they wake up, they can continue eating. Why? Because since the rest of the people sitting around the table were awake the whole time, this does not constitute a hefsik, even for the people who are sleeping. So normally, if you fall asleep in the middle of eating the afikomen, we say you can't continue. But if you have other people sitting around the table and they were awake the whole time, they save you. Since they were sitting at the table and they were eating, So your falling asleep does not constitute a hefsek, even in regard to you yourself. You wake up, you could continue eating. Now let's go back to the Mechaber. Continues the Mechaber. By me, it's the last word on the third line. Nirdemu kulam, if everybody around the table fell asleep, v'neyoiru, and now they woke up, lo yochelu. If everybody fell asleep around the table, and now they woke up, they cannot continue eating. However, nisnamnemu kulam, if everybody around the table kind of was dropping off to sleep, but they woke up like they were half asleep. Nirdemu is they really fell into a sleep. Nisnamnemu is, they're nodding off, but they're halfway awake. Nisnamnemu kulam yochelu. Then they can continue eating. Says the Mishnah, nice cut test, nisnamnemu. What is this shear of sleeping? How do we quantify what nisnamnemu means? How asleep were they? Says the Mishnah, shaloi nishka b'sheina kulei. They did not sink into such a deep sleep. If you would go over to one of them and ask them, where did you put the keys? I'm looking for the keys to the house. And then when you remind him, did you put them on the desk? Did you put them on the desk in the front hallway? Is that where you put them? Nizkar. They'll remember, and they'll respond yes or no. Zehu kare misnamning. That's what's called misnamning. They're not in such a deep sleep. If you could have such a conversation with them and you could get a lucid answer out of them, then that's not really considered falling asleep. And even if everybody around the table fell into such a kind of sleep, when they wake up, they could continue eating the afikoim. Now let's go back to the Ramah. Even though we mentioned it, let's read it again inside. Says the Ramah, Haga, this whole halacha only pertains to somebody who fell asleep once they began eating the afikomen. But falling asleep in the middle of Shulchan Aruch does not constitute a hefsek, and you could continue eating the seuda, and you could certainly eat the afikomen. Says the Mishnah Berurah, a nice cut in Yud. Falling asleep before you start eating the afikomen. If you fell asleep in the middle of the meal, ice cut in Yud Aleph, lo yavi hefsek. That's not a hefsek. What the Ramah wants to say over here is, we don't worry about this hefsek, that you fell asleep in the middle of the suda, because it didn't take place in the middle of eating the afikomen. Maybe you have a different problem. If you fell asleep in the middle of Shulchan Aruch, maybe you need a new bracha rishayna. You washed, you made hamaitzi, you ate matzah, and now you're eating your suda based on the bracha rishayna of hamaitzi that you made on the matzah. But now if you fell asleep, maybe that constitutes a hefsek, and maybe that constitutes a hesek hadas. You removed your mind from the meal. Maybe now you need a new bracha rishayna. On that, the Mishnah Berurah says, Ayin le'el b'siman kuf ayin chesed zayin. Take a look back in Hilchas Brachas, in Siman kuf ayin chesed zayin, with the Mishnah Berurah sham. And over there, the Mishnah Berurah writes, Va'afilu im shah, meshach zman le'erech shah. Even if somebody fell asleep for around an hour in the middle of the table, and so you're by the table, by the Suda, and you had a really hard day, and you fall asleep by the soup, and you wake up an hour later, and you're still sitting by the table, shenenas peshina loy mikri hefsek. That does not constitute a hefsek. That's an oinus. You a nenas peshina. You pashut couldn't stay up. You couldn't keep your eyes open. You fell asleep. That's not a hefsek. Ve'in tzarech levarech hamaitzi. You don't need a new bracha rishayna. It seems that kind of falling asleep does not constitute a hesek hadas from the meal. If you went to sleep, that's certainly a hesek hadas. But if you just fell asleep, you couldn't keep your eyes open, but you were by the table the whole time, now you wake up and you're still by the table, your mind is still continuing the meal. That somehow does not constitute a hesek hadas. Okay, we finished Siman Tov Ayin Ches, and now we go to Siman Tov Ayin Tes. Birkas Hamazayin al Kais Shlishi, benching over the third kais. Remember, we say that each one of the Dalet Kaisais is accompanied by a mitzvah. So the first kais was accompanied by Kiddush. The second kais was accompanied by Haggadah, by Magid. The third kais is going to be accompanied by benching. Uboy sif echad, and here we have one sif. Says the Mechaber, sif aleph. Achar kach moizgin loy kais shlishi. After you finish eating the afikaimen, Safun, somehow Safun, the Siman of Safun, the eating of the afikaimen, kept slipping my mind yesterday during the shir. I don't know why. Finally popped back into my head. Safun. So you finished Safun, you finished eating the afikaimen. Achakach moizgin loy kais shlishi. Now they pour for him the third kais. Of course, the lashon of the Mechaber is moizgin loy. They pour for him. As we saw previously, the minig is that somebody else pours the kais for the balabayas, that he's like a melech. So it's cherus, derech cherus. Somebody else pours the kais for him. Umevarich alav birkas hamazon, and we recite benching over the third kais. Indeed, we hold the kais for benching. Ubare priagafen, and then after benching, you make a bracha of bare priagafen, v'shaiseyu bahaseba, and we drink the third kais reclining on the left side, bahaseba. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut in aleph. Moizgin like kais shlishi. After eating the afikaimen, we pour the third kais. Points out the Chavetz Chaim, v'tzarech hadacha ushtifa im einay naki. Now the kais requires hadacha, which means that we have to wash the kais on the inside. Hadacha refers to rinsing out the inside of the kais. Ushtifa, and we also have to wash the outside of the kais. Im einay naki, if it's not clean. And even if people aren't nizar, they're not careful during the rest of the year to wash out the kais. Over here, certainly for the Dalet Kaisais, we need hadacha and shtifa for hider mitzvah to beautify the mitzvah of the Dalet Kaisais. However, I would point out that we said previously the first kais needs hadacha ushtifa for kiddush. The second kais does not need hadacha and shtifa in preparation of the kais sheni. Why not? Because you washed the kais prior to kiddush, and now it was sitting on the table, and you didn't use it. You're not eating a meal between the first kais and the second kais. So the kais from the kais shel bracha of kiddush sitting there. So now you want to use it for another kais shel bracha. It does not need shtifa and hadacha. But between the second kais and the third kais, you had a suda. So now the kais was sitting on the table by a suda. You may very well have used the kais, and it might have remnants of your eating in the kais. It might be dirty on the outside from the meal. So now it needs shtifa v'hadacha for the third kais. For the fourth kais, you're also not going to need shtifa and hadacha, because again, there's no meal between the third kais and the fourth kais. Okay, ice cut and bays. Umevarich alav birkas hamazon. You bench over the third kais. Afilu imavarich biyachidi. Even if you're having a seder alone, so you're benching all alone, and you don't have a mezumin, still you're going to bench on a kais, even though normally you don't do that during the year. Even like those who paskin, and certainly we're noig this way the rest of the year, that birkas hamazon doesn't really require a kais. Nevertheless, since the Chachamim were masakin Dalet kaisais on the Seder night, it's proper to accompany each one of the kaisais with the observance of a mitzvah. Lahachi, for that reason, we join the drinking of the third kais together with benching, and this is brought down from the Gemara in Psachim on Kuf Yud Zayin Amud Beis. Ice cut and gimel, the Mechaber said, v'shaiseyu ba'aseba. We have to drink the third kais with haseba, reclining on our left side. V'im shasa b'loy haseba. Let's say you neglected to do haseba, so you drank the kais shlishi without haseba. Im yachsar v'yishteh, as it pertains to the question of whether or not you should drink the kais over again because you did not do haseba. Ayin la'el b'siman tafayin beis sif zayin. The Mishnah Berurah refers you back to Siman Tafayin Beis, Siv Zayin Ubahaga, and to the Ramah over there. And over there, the Ramah comes out that we do not drink the third kais over again if we didn't drink it ba'aseba, because it would be nireh k'maisef ala kaisais. It would look like we're adding on a fifth kais. Now let's go back to the Shulchan Aruch. Says the Shulchan Aruch. We do not make a bracha achroina on the drinking of the third kais. We don't make it ala gefen. Says the Mishnah Berurah cut and daled. Even if your kais for the third kais was the size of a revius, right? That's the minimum size that you need, and you drank the whole kais, so you drank a full revius. Still, you do not make an ala gefen. Why? The soimech al bracha achroina shemavarech al kais revi, because we're relying on the bracha of ala gefen that we're going to make after the fourth kais. Now let's go back to the Shulchan Aruch. Continues the Mechaber in middle of the last line. You should not drink any wine between the drinking of the third kais and the drinking of the fourth kais. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cut and hay. You should not drink any wine. Why is this? Shema yishtaker. Maybe if you're going to drink more wine between the third kais and the fourth kais, maybe you're going to get tipsy. V'yishan, and you'll fall asleep. V'lo yigmar halel, and you won't be able to finish halel. I've seen this happen. You have the Seder, people are very tired, it's late at night, they're drinking wine, and they drift off to sleep, and you can't even wake them up. And now he's not going to be able to become the mitzvah of halel. And there are others, like the Rashbam brought down in the Shahar Tzion, who write another reason why you should not drink wine between the third kais and the fourth kais, because of the problem that we've already mentioned several times. If you're going to drink another kais of yayin, it looks like you're being meisef ala kaisais. The kasra achronim, the achronim write the lav dafka yayin. It's not only yayin that you should not drink. You also shouldn't drink any other beverage that can intoxicate. So no schnapps. Miu, even if it's kosher lepesach schnapps. Miu emeina mishaker mutter. But a beverage that does not cause intoxication, you can drink. Then that's only true if it's a beverage that's not considered to be a chamar medina, to be a chosheva beverage in your locale that you would serve to a guest. Because if you're going to drink something that is chamar medina, yesh lahachmir, then you should be stringent, v'lachaish, and you should worry latam hasheni to nirikamaysav ala kaisais. We know that if you do not have wine by the Seder, you could be mekayim the mitzvah of daled kaisais using any chamar medina. So, if the reason why you're not allowed to drink between the third kais and the fourth kais is because it's nirei k'maisef ala kaisais, so then it's not only wine you shouldn't drink any chamar medina, because that's also nirei k'maisef ala kaisais. Okay, let's continue. Let's go back to the Shulchan Aruch, and let's try to cover up some lost ground. Says the Ramah, Hagah, miu mikai shlishi yachal lishtais kama pa'amim. So, we just said the halacha. Once you make the bracha of Bari Priagafen and you drink the third kais, between the third kais and the fourth kais, you're not allowed to drink any wine, and you should not drink any other beverage that intoxicates, and you should not drink any chamar medina. However, says the Ramah, mikai shlishi yachal lishtais kama pa'amim. Let's say you have a large kais, and you made the bracha on the kais, and you didn't drink the whole kais. So now, between the third kais and the fourth kais, you want to be sipping the remnants of the kais shlishi. That the Ramah says is no problem. It all constitutes one drinking. It's all considered a continuation of the third kais, even though you delayed and you made an interruption between the starting of the drinking of the third kais and these drinks of the third kais that you're drinking later on. And he brings this down from the Maharil and the Mahari and the Tashbas. Says the Mishnah Berurah in Ois Cotton Vav on the bottom of Peiches Amud Beis. Miu mikai shlishi, the remnants of the third kais you're allowed to continue drinking. Explains the Chavetz Chaim, delatama kama misham shechrus, because we said two reasons why you can't drink between the third kais and the fourth kais. The first reason was shema yishtaker, you might become drunk and you might fall asleep before you finish halal. If that's the reason, says the Chavetz Chaim, bevadei lo shayich, that reasoning doesn't apply to continue drinking the third kais. Because how much are you going to drink already? We don't have to be afraid that you're going to knock off a bottle of Cabernet. you had remnants of your third kais. So you had a normal kais. Well, how big was your kais? 6 ounces, 6.5 ounces. So worst comes to worst, even if you're going to finish drinking the whole third kais, so what? It's only 3 kaises of wine so far. Combined with the next kais, it's only 4 kaises of wine. We don't have to worry that you're going to become shikr. Well, l'tama denira k'maisiv nami leka. And the second reason not to drink wine between the third kais and the fourth kais also doesn't apply. That reason was it's nira k'maisiv ala kaisais. It looks like you're drinking extra kaisais. Over here, how can it look like you're drinking extra kaisais? Sharei einay ala kaisachas. You're drinking the remnants of the third kais. So that's 1 kais. So how do I see that it looks like you're adding on to the kaisais? Says the Chavetz Chaim, nevertheless, im la'achar sheshasa roiv revius. If you drank, let's say your kais was a revius, we said that the minimum amount you could drink to be mekayim the mitzvah of daled kaisais is a roiv revius, a majority of the revius. So let's say you were drinking the third kais, and you drank a roiv revius of the third kais, and then you had in your mind, you drank a roiv revius, I'm done. I was yaitz to the third kais. I'm not drinking anymore. And now you changed your mind between the third kais and the fourth kais, and you decided you want to drink more. The opinion of the Magen Avram and the Chayk Yaakov is, since in this case you would have to recite a new bracha rishona, you would have to make a new pari priagafen because you were mesiach das. You can't drink anymore relying on the pari priagafen that you made. You decided that you're going to finish drinking. So now if you want to drink more, you have to make a new pari priagafen. In that case, now it does look like you're being meisaf ala kaisais because you're picking up the kais and you're making the pari priagafen. And I have over here in the Dirshu footnote, is this the right one? Footnote 9 and 10. I would just do footnote number 10. Sham Tamal Magen Avram the Biur Halacha reacts in wonderment to the words of the Magen Avram, who says that there's a potential problem of nira k'maisef ala kaisais here because you're picking up the kais and you make the very pragafen. People see that you're drinking from the same kais that was the third kais. The Biur Halacha is puzzled how that looks like you're being meisef ala kaisais. Even though, yes, you are making the new bracha, it's the same kais. Has a kais shlishis. The Chavetz Chaim is puzzled by this and he leaves it in the tzarchian. I'm not going to be chaylik on the Chavetz Chaim, but somehow I do see the problem. I mean, after all, you're telling me that it's the same kais, but we use the same kais for all arba kaisais. So when somebody sees you pick up the kais shlishi and make another bari priagafen and drink, it looks the same as the first kais and the second kais and the third kais. So I do see, like the Magen Avram, that it's nira k'maisef ala kaisais. I'm not sure what the wonderment of the Biur Halacha is. Ice cut and zayin kama pa'amin. You could continue drinking from the leftovers of the third kais even many times. Nevertheless, if you have like one of those kaisais that people use for the kaishal elio, one of these you have a 25-ounce kais, so you're going to tell me, I could drink as much as I want between the third kais and the fourth kais, because the halacha is I'm allowed to keep drinking from the third kais as long as I want. On that, the Chavetz Chaim says, no, lo yishtenu kulei, don't drink it. Shalo yishtaker, because you could become inebriated. Don't drink it. Ice cut l'ches. The Ramah said you could continue drinking from the third kais, even though the hifsik ben tayin, even though you were mafsik. So you drank your roiv revius of the third kais, and then you put it down. And now, 10 minutes later, you're drinking again. So you definitely were mafsik. Okay, now let's go back up. Let's continue the words of the Ramah. Want to finish this Siman if we can. By me, it's the middle of the second line. Pei tes amid aleph. Mitzvah lachzar achar zimun. It's a mitzvah by the Seder to see that you should have a mezumin. Now, reading this simply, you would think that that means that by the Seder, you should work to be Mahader, that you should have a Mezumin for benching. Rabbi Simon, Vel benching, Yishem Hashem Mevorach, right? Says the Mishnah Berurah, a nice cut and test. No, that's not what it means. Achar Zimun, you should have a Mezumin. Iskimu ha'achrayim. He brings down from the Taz, the Magen Avram, the Chayk Yaakov. He says the achrayim have a consensus over here. The High Zimun, when the Mechaber refers to a Mezumin over here, Eino le'inyan Berkas Hamazon. He's not referring to benching. The Bishvil Zeh Eino mechuyev lahader yosim and b'shayu ma'is hashana. As far as a Mezumin for benching, there's no reason to work harder to have a Mezumin for benching by the Seder than there is to have a Mezumin any other meal during the year, any other Shabbos or Yom Tov meal. V'hachal le'inyan Hallel Mayri. Over here in the Mechaber is referring to the recitation of Hallel, that by Hallel you should have 3 people. Why? Why do we need 3 people by Hallel? Shemitzvah lahader loimer Hallel b'shloisha. Because there's a mitzvah to be mahader, to make the singing of the Hallel beautiful, to have 3 people for the singing of Hallel. Why does 3 people make Hallel more special? Kedei sheyehei echad omer l'shnayim hoidu, so that there should be a leader who says, Haidu l'Hashem kitayv, let us, Haidu is Lashon Rabbim, Haidu l'Hashem kitayv, let us thank Hashem because He is good, Kili'aylam chastay, because His chesed, His kindness is forever. And then people respond, Haidu l'Hashem kitayv, you're addressing the group, let us thank Hashem. And they respond, Haidu l'Hashem kitayv, Kili'aylam chastay. Then the leader says, Yoimar no Yisrael, come on, recite Klal Yisrael, Kili Olam Chastai, that Hashem's chesed is boundless and is eternal. And they respond, Haidul Hashem Kitayv, Kili Olam Chastai. That's a beautiful Hallel. That's a beautiful Shira. So that's what there's a mitzvah to be Mahader by the Seder, to say a beautiful Hallel. So, one leader should say to 2 other people, Haidu, and they respond, Haidul Hashem, and they respond in kind. The people that you're calling, the other 2 people or the other 1 person that you're calling to join your group to make a mezumin, they do not have to eat, they do not have to drink, they don't have to be part of a mezumin on benching. The point is that they should hear Haidu, v'yana imayim, and they should answer Haidu, and then they can go home. The Gambazei Skimu and the Achrayim also agree. Even though there is a Hiddur mitzvah that you should have 3 adult males for the recitation of Hallel. And therefore, if you have in your house other adult males, you certainly should pull other people in to join your group to say Haidu. While we're saying that this is a Hiddur mitzvah, it's not such a kpeda. We're not so concerned that you should do this. Because the truth is, as far as this mezumin for Hallel that we're talking about, that there should be a leader that says Haidu, and there should be a group that answers, your wife and your sons could do that also. As far as minor children, to that we should look further. Your wife and kids, you could say Haidul Hashem, and your wife could answer. The wife could even be the one who leads the Haidul Hashem Kitayv. Because the women are equally obligated in saying this Hallel as the men. The same way they're obligated in the drinking of the Dalet Kaisais, because Avheim Hayu Baisayanes. Because of a Chayk Yaakov, however the Chayk Yaakov does, right? Since our minig is to sing Haidu, by my Seder I sing the Hallel in a beautiful way. Yesh Lachush, then we have to be concerned, Lamai Da'armina B'Gemara, to what the Gemara says in Saitam Mem Chesam and Aleph, that Zimrin Noshe, that women singing, Va'anyan Gavre, and men responding to the women singing, Ke'esh bin Iris, is like a spark of fire lighting dry flax. So we don't want to, women singing and men responding, we're getting a little dangerous over here. That's not something we want. That's like starting a fire. If you want to search after people to come join you for benching, so you should have a zimun. So you say, you know what? We'll go over to the neighbor and we'll join the neighbor for benching so that we should be able to bench with a zimun. You should not eat the afikomen in your friend's house. I'm sorry, the other way. If you're going to join your friend for benching, you cannot eat the afikomen in your house and then go join your neighbor for benching. Because if you're going to go to your neighbor for benching, you're going to have to eat something by your neighbor. You can't just show up by your neighbor and bench. You got to eat something there. To join the zimun. But you can't eat if you already ate the afikomen. So if you're going to your neighbor for benching, don't eat the afikomen in your house and then go to your neighbor, because then you have to eat something by your neighbor and you're not allowed to eat after you already ate the afikomen. You also cannot start eating the afikomen in your house and then go finish eating the afikomen in your neighbor's house, because that we saw already previously. You're not allowed to eat the afikomen in two different places. Ella, rather, what should you do? You have to eat the afikomen where you're making the zimun for benching. And you'll bench over there. And you'll drink the kais shlishi after benching over there as well. And stay there till the end of the seder. Then, right, so, but if you want, you could go back to your house after benching and after the third kais. The yishta kais revi, the igmar howl, and say howl in your house. The yishta kais revi, and drink the fourth kais in your house. Lamaisa, we're not knowing this way nowadays. Leilech lechal afikomen babayis acher, to go with the afikomen in somebody else's house. It's better to stay in your own house and do not bench with the mezumin. That's better than getting up in the middle of your suda, labayis acher, to go to a different house, or lechapes acher zimun, so you should have a mezumin. Okay. However, right, if you want to be mekayim the mitzvah really in the best way, you don't have three people to make a mezumin. So invite guests to your house, so you should have a mezumin. And then you'll have a mezumin for benching, and you'll have a mezumin for the singing of Hallel as well. Ois cotton yud. Nope, first we have to go to the Ramah. Says the Ramah, the middle of the second line. Hagah. V'hagadol shebahen omer haidu. When it comes to the Hallel, the Gadol, the Balabayas, is the one who should lead the Hallel. He's the Chazan who should say Haidu Lashem Kitayv, and everybody responds to him. The Ana, and he should be the Chazan who says Ana Hashem Ishiana, and they answer him Ana Hashem Ishiana. The Ha'achayim and Acharav, and the rest of the assembled will answer to him. Says the Mishnah Berurah, nice cotton yod, Aimar Haidu v'Ana, who rak mitzvah l'chatchila v'eino li'ikuva. This is a mitzvah l'chatchila, but it's certainly not ma'akiv. Continues the Ramah. V'hagadol yachal lite la'katan rishus. Certainly the gadol, the balabayas, could give to somebody else rishus. He could give them permission to lead the Hallel, even to a katan. V'yachal l'tzaref l'zimun le'inyan Hallel. And a katan could join the group, the mezumin, for the saying of the Hallel, even if he did not eat with them. The minigish of Balabayis Mavarch Birkas Hamazon Balel Pesach, that the Balabayis is the one who leads the benching by the Seder. Shenemar, because the pasuk in Mishnah says, Toiv Ayin, the one who has a good eye, a generous eye. Hu Yavarich, he's the one who should bench. Who's the Toiv Ayin by the Seder? Who's the one who has a good eye by the Seder? The Hu Mikrei Toiv Ayin. The Balabayis is called the Toiv Ayin. Sha'amar kol dichvin yesev. After all, the Balabayas is the one who, by halach ma'anya, invited very graciously everybody else to join him for the Seder. So who's the Toiv Ayin? The Balabayas is the Toiv Ayin. So he's the one who leads the benching. Says the Mishnah Berurah, cotton yod aleph. The ha'achem remind in acharav, the gadol, the Balabayas, he's the one who leads the Hallel. He says Haidu and Ana, and the others answer to him. If there are only two people, Shneim Yomru Haidu. They should both say Haidu. Lite la katan rishus. The gadol could give a katan rishus. Shehu Yomar, that he should be the one to lead the Hallel. Why would you do this? Kedei shalei yishtu, so the katan shouldn't fall asleep. The gam kedei lachancha b'mitzvos, and also chinuch. V'zeu dafka ba'amiras ana. But this only applies to asking the katan to lead the Hallel by ana Hashem Hashiana, ana Hashem Tzlichana. Memnei shehem einin achar avaisei pasuk gufa, because the adults are going to answer the exact same words that the katan says. Avaloi b'haidu, but it would not be appropriate to do this by haidu, because by haidu, then we're really making the katan a leader and the other one's an answerer. He says haidu and they say yoimar no. So now he's kind of leading, where if you're all saying the same thing, it's not recognizable so much that he's a leader. Our minig is that the balabayis is the one who leads the benching. Even if there's a guest by the table. Normally the Chazal say in the Gemara and Brachas that we give the guest the honor to bench, because then he's also going to say a bracha, the Chazal of a Nusach, where the guest gives a bracha to the balabayis. So we asked the guest to bench so that he should give a bracha to the balabayis. But by the Seder night, there's a special Indian that the balabayis should bench, even if there's a guest. When we come up and make kepeda bazeh and berach acher, certainly it's not a kepeda if somebody else benches. Okay, we're going to stop over here by Siman Tuf Pei. And guess what, Rabbi Isai? We're up to the day's dirshu. This is the dirshu schedule. Pei Tes Amud Aleph is today's dirshu. So Baruch Hashem, we are up to the pace. It's so good to join you together for Talmud Torah. Thank you so much for joining me for Liman HaTorah. The schus of Liman HaTorah should stand down Klal Yisrael in good stead. The Rebbeinu Shalom should send Yeshuas and Refuas and Parnasa to those in need. The Rebbeinu Shalom should give everybody simchas. We still have a chance on Kanfei Nisharim. Let's be Ola Regel for Shavuos. Be well.